you're watching the House Sparks Mega Worldwide, and we do long form. We go through all these clips. Man, oh Shevitz, do we? And sometimes it's easy. Sometimes it's not hard at all. Some days it's frigging painful. And those days are when you have to do a clip around the wonderful word salad of our favorite, the only Barbie you could not see. My favorite extra from Dynasty, Laura Ingraham. Ingraham. I don't know. I'm never going to be able to pronounce it right. She's got, this is Ingraham, Biden's new lockdowns. So there could be new lockdowns. Here they come, just when you thought you were free. Now you know that this weird trophy wife on the Upper West Side who comes to the door and goes, I didn't order a pizza unless it's got extra sausage, and then pulls you in by your tie, and then later on you're like, I feel gross, but this is the easiest $3,000 I ever made. But I think it's good that she's apparently wearing her shirt on backwards. It's a good choice. The double mics tucked in through the whole thing kind of ruins the look of it, I gotta say. I mean, that's why business lapels are helpful, you know.
Biden's new lockdowns?
What? Biden's new lockdowns? Ew, I see. Let me guess. It's going to be, gas is too expensive for you to go anywhere.
It's the focus of tonight's angle. Are we about to face another lockdown?
No.
Period of time where Americans feel like they can't travel? They can't
No.
maybe go to work or see family? Well, not travel for pleasure anyway, only for essential activities. Remember, it was 2 years ago. Can you believe it? It was the COVID lockdowns.
Yeah, I remember that. I lived through it. Also, more problems with these folks understanding that time passes. Hey, while you're at it, since this is the worst inflation we've had in 40 years, why don't you talk about the cost of bread in 1982 and how hard it is to go to the store in 1982?
Foolish closures that had zero basis in science. But today it's
zero basis in science. Mm-hmm. Okay. So the idea is that if we get hit with something else, the Ingraham angle is that avoiding other people during an infectious disease outbreak is there's zero science around that, which is a lie, but also insane. And she wants you to think that just because you survived this, that you were always going to. They have moved into the proven negative, especially after Biden managed to get enough people vaccinated with a strategy, and then Omicron, by hook and by crook and by luck, managed to infect people with a less virulent version of the disease, but that was more contagious.
not a virus that may keep us from jumping in our cars and going anywhere we want. It's high gas
Doing and going anywhere we want, both.
prices and inflation caused by Joe Biden's suicidal green agenda.
Or the fact that Trump literally negotiated a lowering of output in 2020 intentionally, and Russia and Saudi Arabia still were in this game of chicken about who could produce the most gas at that point, and then he drove that down because the price was going down. They wanted to get the price of gas and oil back up because it was cratering. Can't have that. You can't have the market actually decide based on realistic figures. No. You have to manipulate the available product so that you can maximize the profit of said product, even though it isn't yours, you didn't make it, and it comes out of the earth.
Like with COVID, they're asking you to sacrifice for the greater good.
Americans agree that they are willing to even sacrifice themselves by paying more at the pump.
They're okay.
By the way, this is about Ukraine and the spike that's coming because of Russia. And I'm guessing that Laura Ingraham is telling everyone that she doesn't think that's justified, that we should be buying Russian oil. That's clearly the message, and we'll just go with that. Super.
Higher prices if it means holding Russia accountable.
People at the pump who maybe can't even afford it saying, it's okay, though, if I have to pay more at the pump to help the Ukrainians.
Now, this should be no surprise to any of us, because for decades, Washington has been asking hardworking Americans to sacrifice for the politics.
Have they? For the politicians? That's what they've been asking? Is that I'm guessing pay their salaries or something.
Awful policies. So sacrifice for wars in the Middle East, sacrifice because of the house.
Well, in all due respect, Iraq is basically stabilized, and Afghanistan, we're not in there anymore. And we were paying a lot of money. We were absolutely. Thank you for bringing it up, Laura Ingraham. Thank you so much. By the way, I only pronounce her name that way because I know it would irritate the shit out of her. Just, that's the only, like if you went, Laura Ingraham, that's how your name is really pronounced, she'd start sweating and turn white and go, excuse me. Pronounce it properly with a German accent. Anyways, if you'll notice, she has actually done some good here. Yes, we were dumping somewhere in the order of $300 million a day into Afghanistan for 20 fucking years. And Joe Biden said, enough is enough. Period. End of story. Goodbye.
Crisis, sacrifice for the pandemic, and now they're told to sacrifice for Ukraine.
Well, no one was asking you to sacrifice for the pandemic. It was sacrifice so you don't die. Self-interest, something you might understand, Laura. And also so you wouldn't kill someone by carrying a disease that may not kill you, but might kill them. Especially until we get a vaccine online and enough people have taken it, or we've reached herd immunity just by natural interaction that we can't stop. So if you can minimize the number of people dying and clogging up the emergency rooms in case there's, accidents or people fall at home or have heart attacks or any of that shit. If you wouldn't mind temporarily not going to, your favorite chicken and rib shack for a little while because you might die or you might kill the chef at your favorite chicken and rib shack. If you could just tap the brakes, they'll be alive, you'll be alive, everybody will be alive, and we can go back to business as usual. Or you could be a selfish bastard and die a selfish bastard, or kill someone else because you're a selfish bastard, and or kill your own relatives because you're a selfish bastard because you brought it home, and especially till we get a handle on it, and we have selfish bastard tombstones having to be made or something.
And climate change. But the result's always the same. The government gets bigger, spends more, while the middle class ends up poorer and more despondent than they were before.
Not actually true. But also, House prepares to vote on the $1.5 trillion omnibus spending package. Ladies and gentlemen, if I may, the budget includes not only stuff that we are spending currently, because this is not just a yearly budget. This is programs that present like grants and loan guarantees and all kinds of shit that extrapolate over years, right? So hence the 1.5 trillion. Also, the reason that number has been going up is because the size of our economy has gone up. In the year 2000, well, let's here. Should we take a look at this while she's got this stupid fucking look on her face? Let's see. US GDP 2000 to 2021. I want a chart. Damn it. Show me a graph. There we go. Hey, look at that. I don't know what's sideways, but you get the point. This is the gross domestic product in billions in U.S. dollars. And this is for 2022. This is based on Statista. It's actually slightly higher than this because they don't include some real estate transactions and holdings and fluid stuff that goes through the system on a daily basis. This is just the hard tracking of stuff. 1990, here we go. 5,000 million, so $5 trillion. In 2000, our GDP was $10 trillion. And if our GDP was $10 trillion, $1.5 trillion omnibus would be fucked up. That would be rough. However, and this is just the 2021, so we're actually higher than this. So 2020s pre-lockdown, obviously, was somewhere in the order of $23 trillion. That's our economy. What? Putin has placed the head of the FSB's foreign intelligence under arrest? I guess his performance review wasn't very good. We'll look at that in a moment. So what these assholes want you to do is make you think that the government keeps getting bigger, but the economy is staying the same fucking size. Also, from 2000 to now, the bottom 50% in the United States, their wealth overall, has grown by $3 trillion. That's why the average salary in the United States is $68,000. It used to be lower, not because the high earners were lower, but because the low earners were. But, fuck it. I mean, $1.5 trillion. Who would spend that on the world's biggest economy and the world's largest military, which, without it, NATO and the Ukrainian people would have no chance of pushing back on any of this shit. And also the reserve currency for the fucking earth. Again, Laura and all of her asshole friends at Fox are part of these small government conservatives who want government so small that Vladimir Putin can drown it in a bathtub, and apparently want the world's largest economy with the world's reserve currency with the world's largest military to be run on a skeleton crew.
Now, I'm old enough to remember when Democrats used to believe in things called hope and change. But now
now we actually get to see it.
Pretty much dropped all that. With Democrats, all they...
We have? Apparently you have not seen all my smile emojis on Twitter around Joe Biden right now. And you also are ignoring all the new polling.
And to derail America, Biden's long, dark winter is turning into a painful spring. And
it is. Yeah, because gas prices are, I mean, it's high. But right now, they're not even statistically, according to, if you adjust for inflation, higher than they were in 2014.
Next, he's going to bring us a sweltering, miserable summer, and Lord knows how depressing a fall it's going to be.
Yeah, I know. Gosh. Well, I you know what? Just mail in your vote ahead of time, Laura. Go ahead. Just you know that. I mean, I don't even know why you don't just take a break this year, because obviously the right is going to run away with these elections in the fall. These midterms are going to be. It's going to be a cakewalk, and not even the kind of cake that you'd have to make for a gay person, Laura. Like normal cake.
This war by Putin is not going to be costless. It's not going to be painless.
I think it's also true that the world needs to be prepared for a very long, difficult road ahead.
There will be cost as well here in the United States.
You know what the truth is? They believe the planet cannot sustain your standard of living. And most importantly,
yeah, that's not what this is about, asshole. In all seriousness. None of this even has to do with the Green New Deal or any bullshit. It has nothing to do with that. Oil was at negative $36 a barrel. After everybody started going back to work and driving to the airport and flying and going to see family after all this shit, as we started to open up and we had a stagger step because of Delta and then we went back out, the price of gas went up because all these assholes were limiting production, limiting output because Trump had talked them into it. We're still, well, up until November, we were still paying Mexico to not produce as much oil because of the previous year, the agreement he made. So they just started producing again. And it takes about 3 months to ramp that shit up. And we'll talk about the overcorrection in a second. But oil companies, like everybody else, were losing fucking money. When your product costs less than zero, to keep your business afloat, beyond just the profits that you have to give to your shareholders, and we'll talk, the corporate profits of the owners, beyond all that, even to exist as a business worldwide, all of them have to make up for a year where their product was, they had to pay to give it away. Any business that goes through a phase like that is going to want to maximize profits right afterwards. Period. End of story. So that they don't cease to exist or get bought out by somebody else. That's just true. So everybody's still going to do that. And then add on top of that the supply shock of Russian oil and gas that is not going to Europe. So they are buying anything they can find on the open market like everybody else, which includes American oil and gas, because we don't have nationalized oil. I don't know why they don't factor that into their bullshit, but it raises the price because of a lowering of supply. It's supply and demand. It's really baseline economics. They know it, but they want to pretend that they don't know it so that they can, I guess, pretend that COVID didn't happen, that there wasn't a drop to negative 36 a barrel, and that it's going to go up because of that. And by the way, normally they'd be for it. I don't see any calls on Laura's show for the end of subsidies for fossil fuels. As a matter of fact, she thinks we need to add more subsidies that were taken away, that Biden did with an executive order, minor ones, simply just for the value of saying it. Not even going to have a fucking effect. Just to be able to say it.
You don't deserve your standard of living.
And again, this is such a fucking straw man in a I guess wearing a bow tie, carrying a plate of caviar.
They think it's high time that you, your kids, your grandkids get used to living with less.
Why? I think what I've been hearing is with a smart grid and a renewable grid, we wouldn't have to rely on buying so much oil and gas at all, and the overall cost of electricity in the United States would go down, for example. And if you had an electric car, not only could you use that energy source that's cheaper and cleaner, but you could also make it yourself. Because if you have the means and wherewithal eventually, and the prices of these things, and with government subsidies, again, have come down, having solar panels on your house and a battery system, you could charge an electric car based on just the sunlight that hits your house. If you had an oil rig in your backyard, you could not take the oil and process it into gasoline that you could put it in your fucking tank without blowing up your garage. It's called freedom, Laura. Get used to it.
This is all a rerun of the 1970s.
No, it isn't.
When we were told we had to drive more slowly, we had to turn our thermostats
Well, yeah, because those cars were shit, dummy.
out in the winter and up in the summer.
Right, because it was the 70s.
And back then, Jimmy Carter blamed the energy crisis. But remember, there was no energy crisis. We
Yeah, there was.
had plenty of energy in the 70s, just like we have plenty of energy now. This crisis is self-inflicted.
And by the way, we had plenty of energy. You mean the stuff we bought from the Middle East? Partly what got us into all this violence over the last 40 fucking years.
Created by leaders who seem to be enjoying punishing Americans instead of serving them.
Just giving a spanking on the... Take it, America. Right on the tushy. You take it and you like it. With Pete in the middle. It's like a political sandwich. A manwich.
And they certainly don't think that the people deserve answers to any questions about this.
Any comment on Saudi Arabia, Secretary?
Hey there, you can ask me the question.
The next meeting.
Hi, I'm the press secretary, so I can answer the question.
Is it time for more pipelines in the United States to help with the energy?
Senator Grano, is it time for more pipelines in the United States to help with the energy crisis? Pipelines don't produce energy, they just transport it. If you're not pumping it out of the ground, you don't have to carry it anywhere. The more you know.
She's the energy secretary.
She's the energy secretary. She's on her phone, literally messaging people after I guess, well, I don't know whether she's going to or from, it's hard to tell, a press gathering. So you can ask, like, those are questions they didn't get to ask in there, so they're kind of chasing her down in the hallway while she's doing other shit. She's not even answering questions after an hour of answering questions.
And won't answer questions about American.
I don't understand. They won't even answer them. Now, I'm sure, Laura, I couldn't pull up Republicans in hallways not answering politicians' questions, could I? You don't have access to any of that kind of video, do you? All right.
Concerns about energy. Think about that for a minute.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. Okay, I'll think about it. Do I have to think for a whole minute? Because I've already made up my mind. What I've decided is that you used a very narrow cut on purpose of her not addressing one question or somebody's layered question, which she may or may not have even heard while she was on her phone texting something, which might have to do with, I don't know, energy, and that you use that selectively to make it look like she didn't answer questions before or after. Now, I don't know where I would get that idea. I mean, looking at you, I was like, this lady has never been to a key party. No, I'm looking at you and I'm thinking, if there was a giant Queen Karen belching out eggs like it was Alien 3, it would, no. I'm looking at you and I'm thinking, you can't reboot Dynasty. There's no way to make it again. No. What I'm thinking is that you can make a blouse out of a tablecloth, as long as it's just one color. No. What I'm thinking.
Biden and his puppet masters are going to use every bit of this Russia-Ukraine.
Biden's puppet masters. Okay, so it's not his fault. Okay, well, thanks for letting him off the hook.
To take your money and your freedom.
Oh, my money and my freedom? I'm thinking.
Going to happen through another massive expansion of government, I promise you.
Okay, what kind of, okay, here we go. Look.
We're told now.
Oh, look at that. Massive expansion of government. House poised to approve $13.6 billion in emergency aid for Ukraine. It's huge. That's the problem with big government. When big government comes to the rescue of small governments, it's terrible. It's the worst thing that can happen. Because it really blows up my whole small government thing. Like, Ukraine has a small government. Look what happened to them. So that's why we need our government as small as Ukraine's, even though we're 6 times the size of the country, or 10 times, I don't know, 44 million. We're about 8.6. You get my point.
We need to immediately spend, what, $14 billion and send that to Ukraine?
Well, no, we need to immediately spend 13.6. It could, the other 400 million can wait, we think. Hopefully this will be the turning point.
Believes it's going to stop there.
Yeah, I don't know. This whole, if we keep fighting for democracy, I don't know if it ever ends. I mean, when can we stop fighting for democracy? Tell me, Laura Ingraham.
Americans will always rush in to help those in need. That's what makes us
great. But we need to stop it right now.
We're so compassionate and we're so generous. And I know so many.
And we're fucking suckers, okay? That's what
you are. You're donating right now.
I am. I'm donating right now. How did you know I had a tube attached? I don't know if they're going to need this particular type of... I'm just saying I'm not giving blood. But if they do need other kinds of donations, I'm happily giving it.
But we cannot let this horrific tragedy in Ukraine allow
No.
us to forget what matters most.
Right.
Preserving the American way of life.
That's right. And if they have to die so that we can shave $1 off of gas for 3 months, I mean, I don't even drive myself to work, people. Do you realize what chemicals that are used in fertilizer that are made in Russia that are also made in a certain kind of cheek plumping cosmetic? No, of course you don't, because you don't care, do you? No, you don't.
Remember what the flight attendants say before you take off? Secure your own oxygen mask before attempting to help others?
Yes. Currently, we are not being savagely bombed by any other countries, so our mask is intact. If we were in the middle of being shelled, currently, you might have a point. But we're not, so you're a fucking lunatic.
Yet the left hopes that Americans, I think, kind of give up and give in and just accept a lower standard of living, the high gas prices. They're just going to be, that's the new normal. It's the cost of progress, people. It's a new way to virtue.
Oh, that's what it is. Look at these perfectly good...
Look
at this perfectly good file footage from 1993 of used cars. See the word file right there? And also look how she's like, I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMille. It's sound that ruined the movies. I could do anything with my eyes. Shit.
With less. And sometimes not having children. What am I talking about? Well, Raymond Arroyo went out to talk with folks in Virginia today. They're facing high gas prices there. We're going to show you more about this later, but listen to this.
Oh, I'm grateful I can work from home. I know I have some, friends who are seeing if their job will let them work from home maybe a couple more days a week, if not, just to kind of figure out those numbers. I'm grateful I don't have kids, so changes like this, the marginal change, it doesn't affect me so much.
Wearing the mask outside is always a tell. Well, this is called conditioning.
No, she's saying because she doesn't have kids, it doesn't affect her as much. But people with kids, it might. So, I don't know. How about this, Laura? La Jura. If that upsets you, maybe bring back the child tax credit during this time. That would do it. That would solve it. This lady's happy to eat it, the mask lady. She's happy to suffer a little bit if it's going to help the people of Ukraine. You're not. We know that. But you don't drive. You have someone drive you. You have a driver. I saw a secret of my success. I know how it works. Oh, yeah.
Priming you to believe that the old way, the whole, kids, just getting in your car and driving.
Fucking priming you. What the fuck are you talking about? She's saying she doesn't currently have children and therefore working from home isn't as big a slice off of her day because all she's got to worry about is her fucking cat walking across the keyboard while she turns around to move the dog off of her paperwork. That's different. Fucking hell.
That was the wrong way, you selfish person. If you're truly compassionate, you will tolerate and even like high gas prices because it'll help the Ukrainians.
Well, no, you don't have to like it, but you understand that it's reality. And also, she's more comfortable doing that because she can use less gas by working from home at her job, and other people may not be able to do that. So there might be ways to help them if you have a sensible government that gives a fuck and is working on those kind of things, tax breaks, other stuff to alleviate some of that. And I guarantee that later on this year they're going to talk about, as the gas prices start to come down, if they don't go down too much, which they very well may, if they're still up a little bit, they'll be talking about being able to write off a portion of those costs on your taxes for next year, like travel. And by the way, most people who drive to work do anyways.
There is an understanding of that this is, in essence, a small price to pay, particularly if you look at what's going on in Ukraine and you put yourself in their shoes. That's a cost of defending freedom.
They want you to believe that this is all inevitable. The truth is,
It isn't. It's not inevitable. We drill, baby, drill. We are, dummy. There's 9,000 unused private land gas leases out there, oil and gas leases. 9,000. Biden has released 3,328 of them. Now, Trump released 2,000 some odd in his first year. Biden did more. But the oil and gas companies lost a lot of fucking money when everything locked down because Trump was like, I don't want to fuck up the stock market, so let's pretend everything is fine until we have to throw the rent-a-car in reverse on the freeway.
it isn't. None of it ever was.
No, it's not. We didn't have to do this. We were energy independent. We still are. There's plenty of oil and gas in the country. There still is. There isn't in Europe, though, because they were getting it from Russia. We have no control over that. They've decided to shut that off. So therefore, they're buying more on the market. Therefore, the price goes up. Supply and demand. Hey, here's a good idea. Next time you see Maria Bartiromo, before she starts her bender, ask her what supply and demand is.
3 years ago, we actually had a president in power who showed us that middle America is not consigned to inevitable decline. Wages were rising.
No, they weren't. We have literally this year, in the last year, because of the American Rescue Package that they passed, we've seen the biggest reshoring of factories in American history.
So was optimism. But the globalists hated that. They hated the fact that wages were going up for the blue collar.
Oh, the globalists.
Workers. They had to dump Trump because he showed that informed national.
Oh, the globalists, not the fucking voters.
Some patriotic nationalism can lead to more prosperity and more freedom. That's better.
Yeah, but it didn't. The first lockdown and the second one and the third one happened under him, stupid. Reality is reality. He's going to respond to it even weakly at the same way everybody else is.
It's for everybody. Who wouldn't want that?
Who?
This crowd, that's who.
Yeah,
to shape
that crowd.
our common future.
Oh, look at this. She's going full Glenn Beck. To shape this. Yes, she could be my Reine Frau. What is that? What does that mean? Tell him what it means, Reine Frau. Reine Frau. It means she could be my cleaning woman.
In collective and constructive ways.
The recovery cannot.
Not collective and constructive ways. You mean people getting together? What the fuck is this? An Amish barn raising? This is America. Every man for himself. And that includes Laura.
Be a mere restart. The reconstruction must be a transformation.
Every country, city, financial institution, and company needs to adopt credible plans for transition to net zero emissions by 2050.
Yes, must adopt credible plans, ones that actually work and are sustainable. Which I guess walking over to all the oil pumps and gas pumps in the United States and just flicking them off and saying fuck you to anybody who pulls up and tries to drive their car wouldn't be credible and therefore sustainable. And also add Laura to the list of people who don't understand the fucking difference between zero and net zero. That means you still have some, but you're offsetting so that you get to net zero. You balance it out. Net zero. You're fixing it. You've got more carbon reclamation going on, so that it evens out. You take away, as a country, what you're putting in. Doesn't mean you don't put any in. It just means you're taking it out with other shit. That's what net zero means, dum-dum. Net zero. For fucking sake.
Your private jet first, buddy. Well, Biden is answering to these people.
Sorry, the private jet people that she's talking about, like the Davos and all that kind of stuff. A lot of them, I don't want to fuck your whole storyline, but a lot of them pay for carbon offsets. Even if it's just for show, it's good that they do it, and it actually does it. You see? So they do that. They basically take on their own carbon tax. John Kerry does. And then you guys love how he flies around on a fucking plane. Yes. And then he pays for carbon offsets so that there are, like, for every time he's in the air, so there's trees planted and shit like that. There's coral reclamation and water cleaning projects get money. I can see how that goes. See? All right.
Globalists, the Davos crowd, not to you and your concerns.
The Jews. Right.
That's not democracy. It's not the American way, and it's not acceptable. This is...
Hi, stupid. The UN isn't America. America has an outsized say in it because we're fucking gigantic. But that's those people saying their piece. That's what they have to add to the conversation. And we add our part, and then we try to meet in the middle because we're not fucking insane. And unlike every Fox News host, the rest of us out here in what you would consider flyover country, which is everything that doesn't have a steak restaurant that charges $9 for butter, and that the rest of us, we actually have friends. We can get together with our friends and we'll work on things together and projects even. Yeah, we don't. It's not the kind of job where you roll in and fuck everybody else, and yeah, we don't do that. So yeah, when I do stand up, for example, I'll often remind people to treat their wait staff nicely and tip them. It seems like a hack thing to say, but it's true, and comics by and large believe it, and we mean it because we can't do our show unless they're doing their part, and if they don't feel good doing their part, it's kind of miserable. It spreads through the audience. The audience doesn't feel like they're getting great service, and the waiters and waitresses are all bummed out at the end of the night. That's when we see them the most. So it'd be nice if everybody was. So it's kind of a collective and work together. Now, it's not communism. I know that's what you're thinking. You're thinking that anything that involves sharing is Stalinism.
Country. It belongs to the American people, not international bureaucrats. The salaries...
Right. Yes. Go read the Paris Accord and then shut the fuck up.
Every single person in the Biden administration are paid for by you and by me.
Yes. Yeah. And everyone at Fox News is paid for by Big Pharma and catheter ads and pillows. What's your point?
Going forward, the key issue for every voter should be this.
Mm-hmm.
Who will put your interests first? Who's going to work for you?
Who will pit you against one another? That we almost had a slip there. Who will pit you against? Oh, fuck. Who will put your interests first? Fuck. I did it again, man, fella. I can walk.
Your family, your hopes, your dreams. We know.
Yes, that's what I look for in the government. Someone to carry around and lift up my hopes and my dreams. That's what I need. I don't know why they would just want to deal with the perfunctory necessary parts of government and then leave me to my dreams the fuck alone.
Biden and the Democrats. But I think they're on the way out. I think they know that.
Yeah, I think they know that. That's why the polls are getting better. Also, you know who's on the way out? Laura's YouTube channel processor. Hi. Because I'm hello. Hi, beautiful. My girlfriend just walked in. Excuse me for a second, if I may.
No, he's crying.
Huh?
He's crying.
Oh, Chip?
Yeah.
Well, because he wants to climb in here and tear up your... Yeah. Are you going to finish that? Or are we going to finish that? Am I going to finish that? I have to finish at 6 o'clock on the nose because we got to go. We got to go. Yeah. I'm all right. I'm on schedule. Schedule. I'll be done before then. So, oh, look, my camera got shut off. How'd that happen?
Here's what I found.
Oh, don't quit. Hold on. No signal. Why did my camera... I feel like I got censored. What happened? Did the cat get in here and knock something? No, there it is. Okay. I thought, huh? Okay, good. All right. Cause I thought I didn't trip over the cord. I wasn't anywhere near it. He ran in there and then ran back out. Hi, how are you? Chip canceled me. That's totally true. I just shut it off so I could kiss my girlfriend, you know. Yeah, like PDAs are one thing, but filmed PDAs are a whole nother level, and not until I start my OnlyFans. Anyways, Laura's biggest bone to pick, I think, is whoever runs the YouTube channel at Fox News, because they're not letting her get her last words out before they pepper the whole screen with all these billboards. It's honestly, it's like someone walking up and sticking bumper stickers on her during the show. It's just not done. By the way, there's an easy way to fix this. Fox or anybody else, is that you just put a little video tag on the end with some music playing and fade into it, and then layer these over top of it. Happens like that. What am I kidding? That's the problem with these commies at Fox News, man. There's no work ethic.
Belongs to political leaders who help Americans triumph, not delight in their suffering. And that's
right. That's the angle. And by angle, she means that weird, that angle right over her part, and this angle right under her face, and this angle, and there's another angle. There's lots of angles. There's plenty of angles. That's tonight's strangle.